we are gonna get into it. Thank you guys all for joining so much for this masterclass. Today we're going to be talking about healing the hustle, right? So we want to understand, we want to unpack why you're stuck on that hustle hamster wheel and how you can get out of the hustle trap and what your fertility actually needs to shift from stress and burnout, which I know so many of you are experiencing at the moment, and shift into confidence and fertile AF and thriving fertility. Okay, so this is what we're going to be covering off today. So I just wanted to say that I am so happy that you guys are here. I'm on screen for a second. Where are we? There we go. So happy you guys are here and you've joined this masterclass. You've followed the nudge. I know that there are plenty of masterclasses out there that you could have joined, but something in you signed up to this hustle masterclass. I'm so glad you guys are here. I will be touching on my signature online program, Fertile Frequency, at the back end of this training. And if you do stay till the end, I highly recommend it because there is a pretty amazing bonus at the end of this training, which is only going to be available for 72 hours. Okay, so if you can stay till the end, I highly recommend it. All right, so let's get into what you're going to learn in today's masterclass. All right, so first of all, we're going to be looking at why you are stuck on the hustle hamster wheel when it comes to your fertility, because I hear this every day from my clients. They are doing so much, they're doing it all, they're ticking all the boxes, and they're just stuck on this hustle hamster wheel of doing it all, but feeling like they're not getting anywhere. Okay. Second thing we're going to be looking at today is what the hustle is actually doing to your fertility. Okay, we may feel like it's productive, but it can actually be having some negative effects on our fertility. And I'm going to share those with you today. And the third piece is how to shift out of the hustle and what your fertility really needs from you, okay, to be thriving and optimized. So that's what we're going to be covering off today. So, is this for you? Is this training for you guys? So, there are typically three type of people that attend this type of training, right? So there's the fertility newbie. This person might be at the beginning of their fertility journey, but they really want to prepare their mind and their body and their energy in a way that feels holistic to them before starting on their fertility journey. Then there is the number two, which is the hustle hamster wheel. Okay, so this may be you if you've been trying to conceive for months, possibly years. Maybe you've received a diagnosis. You may have had some failed treatments, but you're doing all the right things. Okay, you're doing everything you could possibly do to get pregnant, and yet you're still not pregnant. And number three is the fertility burnout, right? You've been on this long road to your baby. You're really stuck on this hustle trap. You've done it all. You've tried it all. You've thrown everything at this, right? I totally get where you are in this space. You are exhausted. You know you need a new approach that goes deeper than physical only, which is probably why you're here today. So drop a 1 in the chat if you're a fertility newbie. Drop a 2 in the chat if you are on the hustle hamster wheel. And drop a 3 in the chat if you feel like you are in full-blown fertility burnout. I'd love to hear where you guys are at. Drop some numbers in the chat, guys. Where you're at on your fertility journey. So phase 1 is the fertility newbie, phase 2 is the hustle hamster wheel, and phase 3 is fertility burnout, kind of 1 and kind of 2. Cool. And you might be a mix of 2 of these as well, for sure. But I know that for a lot of you, you want to get to here, right? Number 4, which is I call the embodied fertile goddess, okay? And at this level, this is the kind of things that you are experiencing, okay? Your body is in safety mode. You're not stuck in stress and survival. You trust your body, you feel grounded in your body, you can make decision making with confidence and conviction. You're tapped into what your body and your baby needs, okay, from an intuitive standpoint. You are no longer outsourcing your power to external things, right? Buying the supplement, doing this, seeing that person, all of these external things that we tend to give our power away to. You're actually going to become fertile AF within, okay? Using the resources within your own body, okay? So whichever phase that you are in here, you are in the right place, okay? This training is absolutely for you. And in fact, the program that I'm going to be talking about in the back end of this program, on this masterclass, is going to be for you as well, okay? Because the fertile frequency program I'll be talking about has been designed to support each and every one of these phases and each and every part of the fertility journey that you may be on, okay? So if you are in any doubt that you are in the right place, make no mistake and be rest assured that you absolutely are in the right place, okay? So let's get into it. So tell me if you have ever wanted to have a crystal clear roadmap of what fertility actually needs from you, right? So that you don't have to waste time and money and resources throwing spaghetti at the wall and just hoping that something will stick. I know this was a big one for me, right? Or is it that you want to trust your body again, right? Knowing that your body is absolutely capable of getting and staying pregnant. So you can let go of your tight grip on control and micromanagement, right? How amazing would that feel? And number three, letting go of the hustle and grind, right? How good would it feel to like shred your never-ending to-do list, throw away that outdated fertility rule book, and know that you can do less and still get pregnant, okay? And in fact, by doing less, you're optimizing your fertility like never before, okay? So if any of this is sounding familiar, you are in the right place, okay? So if you're ready to finally get off the hustle hamster wheel for good and optimize your fertility, you are in the right place. Okay, you're absolutely in the right place. So a little bit about me. My name is Cara. I am a Virgo and I would consider myself a recovering A-type perfectionist. I don't know if you ever fully recover from those personality traits, but I was very deep in those personality traits at the beginning of my fertility journey, and definitely working on a lot of that over the last few years. I live in Auckland, New Zealand with my partner and my two gorgeous boys. And in true Virgo style, I love to know how and why things work the way they do. But in complete contrast, I also love a bit of practical woo, okay? And by woo woo, I actually mean all the practices that have been around and used for thousands of years, but are considered out of the box by Western medicine. I consider manifestation and intuition my superpowers. I feel like I manifested my partner, and it definitely played a huge role in bringing my two little guys into the world. I'm a decaf kind of girl. I am super sensitive to caffeine, unfortunately, but I do love the taste. But this brings up a real dilemma for me when it comes to espresso martinis with the girls on a Friday night. I am obsessed with feminine energetics and quantum physics and the mind-body connection and just how powerful these tools are to optimize your fertility. And I'm on a mission to empower gorgeous women like you to find clarity and confidence and peace on your fertility journey, whilst enhancing your fertility along the way and becoming fertile AF in the easiest way possible. Okay. But look, if we just rewind 10 years, this was not always the case. Okay. So rewind 10 years, I just returned from living in London for 5 years. There's some photos here from me living in London, having a very, very great time, as you can see. Came home to New Zealand. I was working as a marketing manager in the beauty industry. I was traveling regularly. We had yearly global conferences in Europe, as well as other trips across to other countries. I also launched my own paleo and gluten-free food business. So I was in a commercial kitchen twice a week, cooking and baking and packaging all of my products to sell at markets and sell online. I had a busy social life as well. At this time in my life, there was a lot of friends' weddings and birthdays and baby showers and work events and all the things that I just always said yes to. I was working out 5 times a week, and I was ultimately just really burning the candle at both ends, right? I had a full-time career. I was starting a new business. I had a very busy social life. I was going to the gym regularly, and I was just busy, right? Just constantly busy. And on top of that, I had met my partner, who you can see there in that photo, and we were trying to conceive. So I was using the ovulation predictor kits. I was timing everything. I was charting everything. I was taking all of the supplements. I was cutting out all of the bad foods, and I was just doing it all perfectly because, I'm a perfectionist. But yet there was radio silence on the baby front. Okay. And what resulted after months and months and months of living my life in this way was burnout. Okay, I really, really hit a wall, and I was completely burnt out physically, emotionally, mentally, in every which way. Okay. Then I went to a fertility specialist, and I received a diagnosis of, I got two referrals because I wanted a second opinion. But I had high FSH, quite high FSH, very high FSH, low AMH, which was premature ovarian insufficiency or diminished ovarian reserve. Okay, I was told that I would need an egg donor, and that was my best option for raising a family, and that I had about a 1% chance of natural conception. Okay, so this hit me like a ton of bricks. I was very blindsided by this diagnosis, and it was a shock, to say the least, right? So this is when I realized, okay, this was a huge turning point in my life, right? This was the biggest aha moment and pivotal moment that changed everything for me, okay? And it really put me on the path that I then went down, which enabled me to conceive my 2 boys and also to become a fertility coach and work with women like yourself to conceive in a completely different way. Okay, so I just knew when I hit that burnout and just such deep exhaustion and complete depletion from all of that hustle and grind, I just knew that that wasn't the path to my baby. Okay. So once I let go of the hustle and I radically changed my approach to my fertility, I conceived twice, once at 35 and then at 37 naturally. Okay. This was all possible for me when I really committed to letting go of the hustle and doing the deep inner work that allowed me to do that, and really became embodied in the practices that I now teach with my clients. Okay. Remember that I was told I would need an egg donor and that I had a 1% chance of natural conception. Okay, so my first baby was conceived at 35 via IUI. That was the first IUI that I did because I did 6 months of prep work ahead of that IUI, which is similar to the work I'm going to share with you today. And then at 37, I was taking a break from all of the, doing and everything, and conceived naturally at 37. So if this is possible for me, guys, with my diagnosis and my prognosis and my everything, it is absolutely possible for you too. So today, guys, I am a fertility energetics and embodiment coach, and I really am dedicated to supporting women on their path to their baby because I know what it's like to receive a diagnosis. I know what it's like to be doing everything perfectly and to be just completely exhausted and overwhelmed by the entire experience, feeling like you are constantly up against a brick wall, like nothing is happening, and feeling like no one really understands, right? And that the only option is fertility treatment. That is an amazing option for some ladies, but there's also so much that we can do ahead of fertility treatment that may mean you don't even need fertility treatment. So when I conceived twice after the feedback that I got from 2 fertility specialists, that is when I realized more women need to know what is actually possible, right? More women need to know that you actually have more influence over your fertility than you have been led to believe, okay? And that is why I decided to become certified and become a fertility coach. And I just love my work and serving women in this space. So let's get into the training, guys. So why are you stuck on the hustle hamster wheel, right? And you can't get off it no matter how hard you try. So let me know if this sounds familiar, right? You've cleaned up your diet, you've cut out the bad foods, you've cut out alcohol, and you think twice before anything passes your lips. You're adding new things to your online cart most days, hoping that it's going to be the next best thing to get you pregnant. You've researched the shit out of your diagnosis and you basically have a PhD on it. And you're tracking your cycle, you're using ovulation predictor kits, you're timing your intercourse, you're using apps, and you're trapped in this monthly cycle of feeling hopeful for the first half of the month and then anxious and apprehensive the second half of the month, right? You're constantly adding more to your fertility to-do list. You never feel like what you're doing is enough. You always feel like you must do more, you must do it perfectly, you must do it all in order to get pregnant. And even the thought of letting go of control gives you anxiety, right? The thought of not actively trying to conceive each month also feels like a missed month. It feels like you're not trying. It feels like you're not being productive. And also on that, resting and slowing down feels unproductive and lazy. Drop a 1 in the chat if that's feeling familiar to you, right? There's a lot of the things that I know go through the minds of so many women who are on this journey. I saw it in myself. These were so many of my patterns, and I see it in so many of my clients. Drop a 1 in the chat if this is you. So common, guys. So common. 1. Yeah, amazing. You are not alone. You are not alone. So guys, what I've explained in the previous slide, this is the hustle trap, okay? So you don't trust your body can do this, right? It comes from a feeling of, I just don't think my body is capable to do this on its own. So I need to overcompensate with all of the doing and the pushing and the adding more things to my list. I need to take more, I need to see more people, I need to be hyper vigilant about everything that goes into my body and onto my body. I need to control this process with all of the timing and the apps and everything. And I need to micromanage every day of the month of the cycle to, make sure that timing is on point and I'm eating the right foods and I'm doing the right things at the right time in my cycle. And it just becomes a cluster and a big hustle trap, okay? So we're very much overcompensating because we don't trust that our body can do this. And if you don't trust your body, right, and you believe that your body is faulty or that it needs fixing, it's understandable that you would then combat that by going into this hyper-vigilant fix-it mode, right? Because hustle and hard work has probably allowed you to achieve a lot in life. Am I right? I know a lot of the women that I work with, they are very successful in their career. They have successful businesses. They are very successful in so many aspects of their life. They have fantastic relationships. They have so much going for them in their life. And they've achieved that through hustle and grind, right? They've achieved that through hustle and hard work. So why can't this work for fertility, right? And the truth is, your body is actually not broken. Okay, you don't actually need fixing. You need to actually uncover where your body is out of alignment and where it is being depleted. Okay, because infertility is not a verdict, right? It's actually a message from your body that something is out of alignment. Okay, something needs to shift and something needs to change. That is what infertility is communicating to you. I actually don't like to use the word infertile. I'm just using it here because I know it's a word that so many women relate to. I mean, I was told I was infertile and now I have 2 children. So I don't believe that I was infertile, and I don't believe that a lot of women who refer to themselves as infertile are actually infertile, because if we can change that, it was just a matter of shifting those things, creating more alignment, and and really working on those areas where we had depletion and hypervigilance, and getting our body back into alignment is actually all it takes a lot of the time, okay? So why can't I just relax and let go? Again, I hear so many women, I know that they want to let go of that tight grip on the reins of their fertility journey. They want to just let go a little bit. They want to relax into their life a little bit more. And, I know so many women want to get off the hustle hamster wheel. They want to let go of all of this tight grip on doing and control and micromanagement. But no matter how hard they try, they just simply can't do it, right? And the reason, I want to give you guys the reason, because this is actually quite some of the inner work that I'll be doing inside the program, is it's not actually about the fact that we need to change behaviors or mindset. It's not about that. It's not about willpower, okay? It's actually the reason we are on this hustle hamster wheel is because somewhere in childhood, you picked up the belief or the programming or the conditioning within your family that hard work equals success. That if I achieve, then I will receive validation. That being a good girl means I'll receive love and connection. Now, from the ages of 0 to 7, we are highly susceptible. We are like these little sponges, and we just absorb everything that's going on around us, right? Mostly from our parents and also our primary caregivers, okay? So we are picking up these beliefs about, what do I need to be in the world to get my needs met? Okay. And if we grew up in a household where dad wasn't around much, he worked a lot, and the only time he gave me attention was when I showed him my good grades, or when I did well at, a sporting event. Or maybe it was that mum only gave us attention and validation when we succeeded, when we were a good girl, when we behaved and did as we were told, right? There can be so many situations and so many different nuances in our childhood that creates this belief that in order to get my needs met, in order to receive love, connection, and validation, which are key core needs of a child and into adulthood, we pick these up by what we experienced during our childhood, especially in that 0 to 7 year age gap, okay? So whatever we picked up around this time will get wired into our nervous system. This is the way that I need to be to succeed. This is the way that I need to be to receive attention. And that gets wired into our nervous system. And we continue on this programming, because it's a program now in our system, in our subconscious mind, and in our nervous system. We continue this all the way through our life until we do the kind of work that I bring into my program, where we actually can dismantle some of this programming that isn't actually serving us. And a lot of this programming that I speak about, this is where we see the traits of perfectionism and A-type and high achiever and people pleaser really come through strongly. And I would say that every single one of the clients that I work with would fall into at least one of those categories, if not all of them. Okay, so drop in the chat for me if you're resonating with any of these characteristics here. Drop it in if it's perfectionism or A-type, high achieving or people pleaser. Drop it into the chat if any of these are resonating for you. I'd love to hear. And the thing is that with all of that, right, we also believe that this has worked so well for me in the past, though, right? Me working hard towards a bit of all four. Yeah, it's often a combination. Yes, yeah, thumbs up. Yeah. Yeah, always these patterns always come through with every single one of my clients. So it's a theme I see for sure. And yes, this kind of way of being has served us so well in the past, right? It's helped us to reach our goals in our career. It's helped us with maybe university grades, helped us get our first job, helped us climb the corporate ladder, helped us buy a house, whatever it's done. It's helped us, reach other goals in life. But then I always ask, it works until it doesn't, right? And I often see with my clients this cycle of pushing and striving towards a goal, which normally results in like burnout, like complete utter burnout where you just need to spend the next like day or two in bed binging Netflix while you just like literally restore your body because you've just like burnt up all your energy from all that pushing and striving. And then after a couple of days, we're like, oh no, I'm being unproductive, I'm being lazy, I need to get back on the horse and get back into it. Right? So this is a real cycle that I see with my fertility clients, is this cycle of push and strive and then burnout. Push and strive and then back into burnout. Okay. And also, in this space, the way when we're being this way, we are attaching our worth to our productivity, right? We're attaching our worth to our success and our achievements. Okay. And then our self-worth is then tied to our output, right? How much we achieve, how much we succeed, other people's validation of us, how it looks to the outside world. It's a very output focus. We're not focusing on the input, which is a very feminine way of being, about how we're restoring our body. How does this feel in my body? How am I aligned to this? Does this feel safe in my body? Do I feel regulated when I do this? Okay, we're very much focused on the output. We're not focused on the input. Okay, so ultimately, our nervous system is wired in this way. Our nervous system is literally wired for hustling and achieving. And that is why you may find it hard to let go sometimes of this tight grip we have on all of the doing, right? And all the tasks we need to complete in order to help us get pregnant. So this is why you are stuck in the hustle, okay? The biggest reason you are stuck on the hustle hamster wheel is because you don't trust, right? There's that trust element. We don't trust that our body can do this. Together with that childhood programming, right? Work hard equals success. And success equals validation, love, and connection at a deeper level, right? So you don't trust your body can do this on its own. So then we see all the hustling come into play, or the doing and the action taking. And when we don't trust, right, whether it's your body, you may also not have trust around, do I have enough support around me? You may not support that you may not feel that your partner will be there in the way that you need him to be. I'm sure he's an amazing partner, but you may have some doubts about, well, how's it going to be when the newborn baby arrives? I don't know. Or maybe it's about how much your partner is connected with you and understands you during this really tough time in your life while you're going through a fertility journey together. Okay. It could be that you don't have trust around whether you can handle birth and motherhood. These are very common fears, subconsciously wired into our body. And then we may also not trust in a higher power, right? Trust in your baby's timeline and trust in divine timing, right? Because at the end of the day, the babies aren't working to our timeline. The babies are on their own timeline, right? But when we're very much in our head, right, in this way, we're very much living our lives from our head, the overthinking, the overdoing, the doing things that's logical, doing what's sensible, like very much living it from our monkey mind of everything we need to do from a logical point of view. We really lose that connection with our spirituality, right? And lose that connection with a higher power, whatever it is for you that you believe in. We really lose that ability to connect with our spirit baby, or even connect with the baby we want to bring into the world. And we lose that connection with trust around divine timing, okay? So lack of trust in all of these areas leads to the overcompensation, right? The overcompensating in everything that we're doing. And then the programming, right, which is the work hard equals success, which equals validation, love, and attention, right? All this programming is also laid onto this, right? I don't trust my body lets me down, don't trust others, just do it yourself. Other people let me down. It could be that you feel I only achieve when I work hard, I'm not supported, so I have to do everything myself. And that is when we really start to see that real Miss-Independent kind of energy come through, right? I'm just going to do it myself because no one else does it and I'll just be let down anyway. So I'm just going to do it all myself. This is really taxing on the body, really taxing on our energy and the body when we have this kind of way of living our life. Miss-Independent, don't help me, I can do it myself. Everything's on our shoulders, right? And we see that hypervigilance come through, that control, and ultimately just an overdoing of everything. And then laid onto all of that is another layer of this kind of societal or cultural conditioning that we have around our age, right? I mean, I had 2 geriatric pregnancies. Um, I can't believe they call it that after 35. It's crazy to me. But we have this cultural conditioning around our age, and we might start believing that I'm too old, or it's going to be hard for me because of my age, or my eggs are shit. I don't have many eggs left. The quality's no good, whatever it might be, which is quite often just based on pure cultural conditioning, not on fact. Okay. So, how is the hustle impacting your fertility? So, what is the hustle doing to your fertility? So, whether it's hormones or PMS or fertility, any kind of physical symptom, there's always going to be an energetic and emotional component. Okay. And if you've been following my Instagram page for a while, you'll know that I'm all about the energetic and emotional underlying causes of physical manifestations of symptoms. Okay, the emotions and the physical, they are not separate, right? They are very much not separate. And in fact, one often causes the other, right? Emotions will often cause the physical. And we see this how when we feel sad, our body produces tears. When we feel nervous, we might get butterflies in our stomach. When we feel anxious, we might have some digestive issues. When we feel fear, we might, feel our heart racing and get sweaty palms. When we are going through grief, quite often we can feel pain in our chest, from heartache. And anger creates a lot of muscle tension in the body, especially around the shoulders and the jaw and the neck. So emotions absolutely become physical. And there's no difference to that when it comes to fertility as well. Okay. Our emotions in our body become physical. So if we just look at cortisol, I'm just going to give you a little 101 on cortisol. And so obviously when we are highly stressed, cortisol is high and that steals from progesterone. So in order for cortisol to go high, it kind of steals from progesterone. So the progesterone decreases, right? Now, progesterone is needed for a lot of different functions, okay, including metabolism, lowering inflammation, regular menstrual cycles, fertility, obviously, uterine lining, preventing miscarriage. It's also a calming hormone and it aids in sleep. So there are so many reasons why progesterone is so important. Now, you might not have low progesterone as such, but there's a whole lot of precursors to progesterone and a whole lot of different chemical cascades, if you like, within all the hormones. Once one becomes out of balance and out of whack, it affects all of the hormones. Okay, so that's just how that kind of picture works. You might not technically have low progesterone, but if you've got high cortisol from high stress, and we're going to go into what else creates high cortisol, chances are your hormones are out of balance, and that is creating that physical manifestation of your fertility disharmony or dis-ease or diagnosis. So what creates high cortisol? So yes, stress, obviously, stress absolutely creates high cortisol. Trauma also creates high cortisol, right? Now, trauma doesn't have to be a big T trauma like abuse and things like that, although of course that is absolutely big T trauma, but trauma can also be smaller things. Some people refer to it as small T trauma, which can include things like an absent parent, one parent that was a workaholic, you never saw them, one parent was an alcoholic, parents going through a divorce, a particularly nasty teacher that used to reprimand you in front of the class, bullying at school. I mean, it really can be anything that created a lot of emotions for you at the time that you didn't have the tools to process. Okay. It brought up a lot of emotions that you didn't have the tools to process at the time. Okay. And that is what trauma is. Okay. So also suppressed emotions create high cortisol. And all of this gets stored in the nervous system. Okay. So when trauma is not resolved, or a stressful event or a stressful memory isn't resolved, that gets stored in the body. Okay. When emotions are not expressed, because emotions are energy in motion, right? They want to be moving and flowing and moving out of the body as we feel them, move them out of the body. So when emotions are not expressed, those emotions get stored in the body as well. So we have trauma stored in our body, we have emotions stored in our body, and with this, that cortisol just keeps firing, right? Because the body is actually perceiving that there is still a threat or a danger present, okay? So unresolved trauma and childhood programming, plus our experiences, mostly through childhood, but it could be beyond, creates this constant surge of cortisol, right? Then we have the day-to-day stress on top of that, which we all have when we're going through our fertility journey. So you can kind of see how our fertility can be so out of whack. So we have this high cortisol from trauma and emotions and childhood. Layered onto that, we have our day-to-day stress. And with all of this, that decreases progesterone, it increases estrogen. So when progesterone comes down, generally estrogen will increase. This creates hormone imbalance. This creates high inflammation. This creates dysregulated nervous system. And it also impacts our hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal gland. Okay. And these are master glands when it comes to hormone balance and fertility. So ultimately, not being in your feminine raises cortisol. Okay. What do I mean by this? All of that overdoing, over action taking, all that kind of striving and hustling, and all of those energies are very wounded masculine. Okay. The wounded masculine is very hyper body focused. Okay. This could be where we're very focused on our body, we over exercise, we count our calories, we only eat clean, we have to stay in a certain size of jeans, just very hyper body focused. And this can come from body shame from a parent or body shame we picked up from a parent who had their own body shame issues. Hyper direction focused is another one for wounded masculine, right? That needing to achieve, nothing ever feels good enough, not being able to slow down and rest, that kind of perfectionism stuff, and that real need to earn in order to receive. This is a biggie. We feel like we must earn in order to receive the thing that we desire, okay? And this all comes under that kind of hustle and grind mentality, okay? So feminine energy is our life force energy as a woman. Okay. Feminine brings in abundance and magnetism and, expansion and growth and all these beautiful things. And being in our feminine is also tied to your hormones and your skin, general health, your relationship to food, your worth, your self-worth, and your personal power, and just so much more. And that is why inside of Fertile Frequency, my online program, we have an entire module on feminine energy and an entire module on masculine energy as well. So what is the hustle doing to your fertility? As we've talked about, right? All of that overcompensating, the overdoing, the overthinking, overanalyzing creates a lot of anxiety, creates this need to control, right? This need to micromanage. All of our actions come from a place of shoulds, right? And we're very, very focused on productivity. So with all of this kind of beingness, right, this way of being very hyper vigilant and moving fast and doing a lot of things and quite scattered, the body doesn't feel safe in this way of being, right? The nervous system is very dysregulated. We're often flip-flopping between fight and flight when we live this way. And there's a lot of depletion going on in the body. Okay, we're depleting our energy, we're depleting our minerals, we're depleting a lot of vital things we need for our body to operate optimally. And then the body creates these protective mechanisms because the body is under threat, or it feels that it's under threat. It feels like it's in danger because we are so dysregulated, right? We are so stressed and dysregulated, the body perceives that as survival, right? We're in survival, we're under threat, and anything not needed for survival will be shut down. And of course, that includes things like immunity, digestion, but it absolutely includes fertility. Okay, so when we lead fertility in this way, from the overdoing and the overthinking and the shoulds and the have-tos, this is very much leading our fertility from the mind, right? And this is a very masculine characteristic, being logical and leading from the mind and making the decisions and, support and building things, right? That's very masculine, okay? Leading from the mind is a very masculine energy. And it's a very external seeking energy as well, right? When we're constantly, I need this thing, I need to buy that supplement, I need to go and see that person, all these external things we're trying to do. And we might even find that we are trying to get external validation from other people. Well, what did you do? And what did you do? And it could be as well that we are going to all the other people to tell us what to do, going to the experts and the specialists and just saying, just tell me what I should do. That's very external seeking. We're not taking anything from within on what our gut intuition is telling us. We're very much just grasping at these external things. Okay. So all of this hustle is really taking action from misalignment, right? The shoulds, the have tos, can't stop, can't relax, and our decisions are very much coming from a fear-based place, okay? So the impact on fertility is depletion. First and foremost, massive depletion of energy, of minerals, of the energy we need to create our baby, basically, right? Burnout, another one. That cycle I talked about, the striving and the burnout, the striving and the burnout. Burnout is a massive one. We see nervous system dysregulation when we live in this way. We see hormone imbalance, autoimmune conditions. I see thyroid come through a lot with the women I work with, inflammation, also cycle issues. So not ovulating at all, irregular cycles, other ovulation issues. We can also see low sex drive, right? That happens, blocked fallopian tubes. Physical armoring, right? So you might find yourself with your shoulders up here, right? Or maybe you find yourself constantly with a clenched jaw. That is all physical armoring, right? You're creating a shell around yourself because your body is under stress. Your body's in fight or flight. So just notice that when you are at work or you're feeling really busy, just notice, is your body clenching? Is your body tight? Is there tension in your body? You got a tight jaw. And the reason the body does this is because the body is getting ready to fight, right? To bite. It's actually all part of that survival mechanism. Okay, really interesting. But we can also experience armoring in our sexual reproductive organs, right? So that's where if you experience painful sex or anything else, because we're armoring, we're trying to protect ourselves, okay? The body is creating that protective mechanism because the body feels like it's under threat and that it's not safe, okay? We can also see this sort of hustle and this kind of way of being manifest into PCOS, endometriosis, low egg reserve, and egg quality issues. I mean, really any fertility related disharmony can come off the back of being very much our wounded masculine, hustling, dysregulated nervous system. Obviously, it can manifest in different ways for different people, but I go into some specifics for each of these particular issues in the program. And guys, this is why we really have to get to the root of these things and heal this hustle at the root, because you can be eating clean and taking all of the supplements and making all of the superfood smoothies that you like. But if you're not addressing the underlying root cause of your dysregulation or your depletion, you won't be accessing your full fertile potential. Okay, so no matter how much CoQ10 or Vitex you throw at it, you can't outdo all of this underlying programming. Okay, this is really at the core of why things are manifested the way that they have. So how do you finally shift out of the hustle trap and in doing so, restore and optimize your fertility? Okay, how do we do this? We need to lead fertility from the body, right? This is the feminine way, right? We talked before, the other way where we're stuck in our head and we're overthinking and we're doing all the things, that's a very masculine way of being, okay? And we're not here to try and conceive like a man, right? We want to, support our body and conceive like a woman and a very feminine woman, okay? So we want to lead fertility from the body, which is our feminine essence. This is a feminine characteristic, and it's very internal seeking, right? So before with the wounded masculine, that's very external seeking. Being in our feminine, being in our body, and really using our body as the absolute best barometer and inner built compass for what our next step and what our next decision should be, is an amazing way to actually ground into your body and make aligned decisions that you know are the right decisions for you and your body and your future baby, okay? It's more of an internal seeking, right? And when we're in the body, that's when we can access intuition. When we're grounded in our body, that's when we can tap into our body's inner wisdom. We can actually decipher the messages from the body. Okay, we can connect with those gut feelings that we have, which we always are having, but we're probably so in our head that we just don't even listen to them or don't even pay attention, right? That ability to rest when your body calls for it and actually allowing yourself to do that. Okay, and also take aligned action from a place that feels good and feels aligned. This is what it looks like when you lead your fertility from being in your feminine and leading from your body, not your mind, okay? So it is not enough to just change our habits or change our behaviors or to just have pure willpower, okay? The hustle is actually a manifestation of that childhood programming we talked about, right? Which taught us that hustling equals success, right? To really shift out of hustle and the chronic stress and the fight and flight and the nervous system dysregulation that comes with that, we have to address why we have these patterns in the first place, okay? And nervous system practices alone are actually a band-aid. And I know that nervous system is a very big hot topic at the moment, and it should be because it is so crucially important to every single function of your body. I love nervous system work, and we do a lot of it inside Fertile Frequency. But using practices alone are a band-aid or just like a maintenance tool, okay? Because they don't actually address why you're dysregulated in the first place, okay? So when you don't address the underlying beliefs, the underlying programming, and the patterns that are keeping you in this perpetual loop of hustle and hard working, you'll continue to deplete your fertility, spinning your wheels and not getting to the root of why your body doesn't feel safe to conceive or possibly hold a pregnancy. Okay, so really getting that layer deeper as to where this programming has come from. That's what really regulates the nervous system by actually getting to the deeper level of the programming that started in childhood. So, how do we shift out of the hustle trap? This is what we do. We need to uncover the patterns in your life that are depleting your fertility. Okay, we want to reveal the beliefs and the programming and the conditioning that is keeping you stuck in these depleting patterns. Okay, then we want to process and release what is keeping your fertility depleted and dysregulated on a deep, somatic, energetic, and physical level. Okay, we want to release this programming, release these patterns. And by doing so, we then get to heal the energetic root cause of why your body has manifested physical fertility symptoms or potentially a diagnosis. Okay. And this is what we do inside of my signature online program, Fertile Frequency. So this may ruffle some feathers, but fertility goes far beyond the physical. And I guess you're probably getting the picture now and connecting the dots that this is the way, right? That your fertility diagnosis is not the reason why you're not conceiving, right? It's actually just a symptom of the underlying patterns and programming and wounding and trauma that has actually gone on to manifest in the body as things like PCOS, endometriosis, or low EMH, or whatever it might be, okay? So emotions that are not fully expressed, they get stored in the body. Trauma that is not fully processed, it gets stored in the body. Stressful events and experiences that aren't fully processed gets stored in the body. Okay, so you can start to see how repressed emotions and experiences get stuck in your nervous system, okay, and cause stress responses to continually fire in the body, okay, and we wonder why our fertility is such a mess. So the real root cause of your fertility challenges is the emotions and the experiences and the unresolved stress and trauma that are lodged in your body, and all of the patterns and programming that is running on autopilot as a result of that programming. Okay. So it's not your age or your diagnosis, right? I just want to really sort of recap this here, guys, that not being able to conceive actually has a lot less to do with age and your physical symptoms, and a lot more to do with these things, okay? It has a lot more to do with how safe your body feels to conceive, okay? And we know now we're not just talking about physically safe, we're talking about that energetic nervous system safety. It has a lot more to do with how trapped emotions and energy that you've never learned how to express, that those are still stored in the body, okay? The conditioning and programming that have manifested into patterns and habits and behaviors that are keeping your body stuck in survival and therefore actually turned off to fertility. It's about the ability to be in your body, right? Versus living life from the neck up, right? That's keeping you stuck in stress mode and rumination and overthinking and worst case scenario. And this is a biggie for my clients. Most of my clients have lived their entire life from the neck up. Everything is done based on brain and logic and what seems to be sensible. Most of my clients, the very first thing we do is work on getting back into our body, okay? This is crucial to grounding the nervous system and tapping back into our body's intuition and the messages and wisdom from our body. So it has a lot more to do with the state of your nervous system and the programming that keeps you flip-flopping in fight or flight. And also the blocked energy that is stuck in your body because you didn't have the tools to cope with or process them at the time. Okay, so once you stop looking outside of yourself for the answers and begin the inner work to uncover what's actually keeping your body from getting and staying pregnant, that is when really amazing, magical things start to happen. Okay, and I'm so excited that you guys are here to experience this and understand this. So, what is on the other side of healing the hustle? Okay, this is what I see with my clients, this is what has happened for me. We start to see physical symptoms dissolve, okay? Because the core root of why it manifests in the first place isn't there any longer, right? So the physical symptoms start to dissolve. My clients that have had issues with their cycles will either their cycle will return or will now become regular. Spontaneous pregnancy. That's what happened to me. A lady in my group just announced her pregnancy last week, low AMH, miscarriage, planning IVF. Now she's pregnant spontaneously. Increased success with fertility treatment because you're really preparing your body and getting it into the most optimal state possible. You have a regulated nervous system, you are grounded in your body, and with that, you are connected with your intuition. Okay, this is a feminine superpower, by the way, that we all have access to. It's just a matter of actually connecting back into that voice. Your feminine energy comes online, okay? Decision making without second guessing or doubting yourself, okay? Imagine how amazing that would be. Don't have to second guess or doubt every decision that you're making. You know what is right for you. You trust your body. You know your body can do this. There's an ability to surrender to the process and trust that it's all happening and gaining momentum behind the scenes, okay? You are able to advocate for yourself with confidence and conviction. You're going to live your best life even before the baby arrives. Yes, it is absolutely 1000% possible. And you are going to become your own best self-healer with this work, okay? Honestly, guys, it's life-changing, this kind of work. So here are a few testimonials, client shares that I wanted to share with you guys of some of my clients, the kind of changes and transformations that they experienced after working with me and inside my programs. So one of the clients, positive pregnancy test, amazing. Another client of mine, her husband was asking, what are you doing differently? Because he was sensing that she was in so much better of a better space. She was embracing her divine feminine energy and trusting herself for the very first time, making decisions from a place of alignment as opposed to fear, and that is a biggie. Another client, This is a client of mine who became pregnant on her first round of IVF. She had a 25% chance of that IVF round working, and her first round, after working with me for 4 months ahead of time, was a success. She now has a beautiful 1-year-old baby. And this client of mine who had low AMH, and she actually took part in the foundational training that I have inside the program. Even with that foundational training that is in module 1, and it's something that we continue to tap into throughout the entire program, is such a game changer. She conceived naturally after being inside of that mini program that I had with low AMH. Okay, here we have another client of mine, low AMH, miscarriage. She was planning IVF. She surrendered. She let go of tracking and timing. She let her hair down at a friend's wedding. I love that. She sent me a video of her up on stage, dancing with the bride, having a drink, having a great time, and then boom, pregnant naturally that month. Okay. Of course, I'm not condoning you need to be out there singing and drinking alcohol, but she just surrendered and she conceived against all odds. Okay. And then there's other beautiful things that are happening for my clients, like this client here, who said her first thought in the morning isn't about pregnancy anymore. That was after 1 week inside of my program. Can you imagine waking up and not being consumed by your fertility journey, right? With every waking moment, not feeling consumed by it. We have women inside the program releasing blocked emotions that were stuck in their body, having aha moments around trauma and wounded masculine energy that was actually impacting their fertility, and unraveling fertility blind spots, feminine energy coming online, and really a new awareness around what is dysregulating their fertility. Okay, this is all possible inside of this program. So now you have learned why you are stuck on the hustle hamster wheel, right? It is not your fault, okay? This is your programming and the way that your nervous system has been wired from childhood, okay? So we need more than just willpower and more than just nervous system practices to really deeply reprogram and rewire our nervous system and our body for safety, okay? You've learned what this is doing to your fertility, right? How hustle creates dysregulation and depletion in your body and in your nervous system and ultimately in your fertility. And your body is actually trying to protect you by keeping you safe, okay? Which is not what we want, and that's why we want to shift those old programs into a program of safety. And we've learned how to shift out of hustle and what your fertility needs to shift from stress and burnout to confident and fertile AF and thriving. Okay, so when we get to uncover and reveal and process and release the programming that is keeping us stuck in survival, that is when we get to restore fertility. Okay, so overall, we've learned overall that hustle is not your fertility friend. Okay, if you're serious about rejuvenating your fertility, it's really time to shift out of perfectionism and out of burnout and out of all of the hard working that we're doing to try and get pregnant in order to nurture and optimize and restore and truly awaken your fertility. So if you're still on the fence about how important shifting out of hustle is for your fertility, I want you to listen up. If you're thinking, maybe I can just keep throwing spaghetti at the wall and something will eventually stick, look, I hear you. I was at that same space at the beginning of my fertility journey. But what this often leads to is wasted time and money and energy and resources that I know will leave you feeling exhausted and discouraged, okay? My program, Fertile Frequency, is designed to help you do less and achieve more by getting straight to the underlying patterns that are depleting and dysregulating your fertility. Okay, no more over efforting, no more guessing, just a proven step-by-step process that optimizes your fertility. Okay, if you're thinking this is a little bit woo-woo and I'd rather go straight to IVF to increase my chances, I really want to share here that this is a massive misconception. Okay, all of the concepts that I've shared today and also inside Fertile Frequency are all backed by science, quantum physics, and the mind-body connection. Okay. And there are numerous studies out there now that show that this kind of work more than doubles your chance of conceiving. Okay. So it's pretty amazing work, and it's definitely not woo-woo. Okay. Although I love a bit of woo-woo anyway. If you're thinking, I'd like to give it more time to try naturally, and then I'll move to IVF, and if that doesn't work, then maybe I'll consider this. I just wanted to say here that if you are stuck on the hassle hamster wheel and you continue your fertility journey in these dysregulating and depleting patterns, it's likely to deplete your fertility even further. Okay, so if you are ready to have your baby in your arms sooner rather than later, then you have this opportunity to follow a clear path to optimize fertility that worked for me and that is working for the ladies inside of this program. If you're thinking, how can this kind of work be as effective as medical treatments like IVF? And look, while IVF is a valuable medical option, it actually doesn't address the underlying energetic and emotional factors that can impact fertility. Okay, so fertile frequency actually complements medical treatments by focusing on releasing those depleting patterns and restoring balance, creating a much more fertile environment. Okay, so addressing these root causes is actually going to enhance your overall fertility and increase your chance of success with treatment. And oftentimes, it will actually reduce the need for treatment at all. Like my client in my group just last week who conceived naturally with low AMH while she was waiting for IVF. If you're thinking, I have a busy schedule, how will I find the time to commit to this program? I have designed Fertile Frequency with busy women in mind. This program is flexible and it can be tailored to fit to your schedule. Okay, so you can access the materials at your own pace. And I always suggest to my ladies to consume 1 to 2 lessons per week. So that's really only about 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And there's a little bit of extra healing practices that you might do throughout the week as well. If you're thinking that you're worried about the cost of this program, I totally understand that finances are a concern, especially when you are investing in fertility treatments. However, Fertile Frequency is a fraction of the cost of IVF, even IUI, and offers really long-term benefits by addressing the root causes of depletion and dysregulation and imbalance. Okay. I also want to mention that at the end of this masterclass, there is going to be a never to be seen again hot price for the next 72 hours. So stick around and you'll see a very special price on the program that is a very hot deal. If you're thinking, I'm uncomfortable sharing my personal struggles in a group setting, it's just totally natural to feel hesitant about opening up. But the group setting in Fertile Frequency is safe, it's supportive, and it's a very non-judgmental space, okay? And many of the women inside the group find that sharing their experiences with each other and knowing that the other ladies totally understand where they're coming from is actually incredibly healing. So you have the choice to participate to the extent that you're comfortable, and there are opportunities for private support as well if you wanted to add that on. So, am I speaking to you? Okay, let's get honest for a second here. Why did you really show up today? Okay, you're really here because you want to cut through all of the noise and all of that information overload and have a clear roadmap to optimize your fertility, right? That does not include hard work or hustle. You are here because you want to let go of the patterns and the hustle that is keeping you stuck in survival and depletion and burnout so that you can do less and become more fertile, right? And you're here because you want to collapse time and get your baby into your arms sooner, right? By doing what actually creates change in your fertility on an emotional, energetic, and physical level. Okay, so the way I see it, you have 2 options. Okay, if you are stuck on the hustle hamster wheel and you really want to optimize your fertility and become fertile AF, there is this pivotal moment of decision that happens, right? You can either stay where you are, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe that looks like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I know I've been there and I know what this looks like because I've experienced it myself. For me, I was throwing money and time and energy and resources at every new shiny thing that promised to get me pregnant. I was depleting my energy and my fertility by doing it all and doing it all perfectly and hard working my way to my baby. And I really hand over your baby, yes, and I was handing over my body to someone in a white coat, right? In those first few months, I was really looking to my specialist to tell me what to do, because we believe that they know our body better than we do, right? And we stay trapped in the hustle hamster wheel, feeling exhausted and burnt out and disempowered ultimately, right? The other option is to join a program like Fertile Frequency and become the embodied fertile goddess, aka Fertile AF, right? And this is where you will have the power to uncover exactly what is keeping you stuck and in survival mode and what is holding you back from conceiving. You're going to be able to collapse time on your path to your baby and get pregnant sooner using a proven method. You will have all of the tools and the practices at your fingertips to release anything that is creating resistance in your body. And you'll also have direct support by me, someone who has been there and lived it, as well as the sisterhood of ladies inside the program who are all on the same path as you. Okay, so if you feel ready to commit because you are over restricting and depriving and rattling from all of the supplements, right? I remember this myself. I literally was taking so many supplements. I felt like I was rattling my way through the day. And I also reduced my life to this little bubble of only fertile things, right? Only things that were to do with my fertility. My life just shrunk into this bubble of fertility, right? Living life on an emotional roller coaster of monthly ups and downs and picking yourself up off the bathroom floor every time you get your period, right? Being told that IVF is your only option and feeling like there's nothing you can do to support your own body and your fertility, okay? You've done all these things. You don't want to keep doing these things, right? It's frustrating and you're looking for real results. So, introducing Fertile Frequency. This is my 4-month signature online program where you get to reconnect, realign, and reactivate your fertility. So I just wanted to share a couple of testimonials with you guys. So this is from Julia. Okay, Julia got pregnant naturally 2 months into the Fertile Frequency program. She'd had a miscarriage, she had low AMH, and she was preparing for IVF. I think I mentioned her earlier in the masterclass. So for her, she felt like Fertile Frequency was the missing piece in her life, the one thing I always needed, and she is so grateful that she found it. She felt like she was finally understood for the first time in her life. Something was out of place, and within seconds, she knew how she was living was not right for her, and it was never going to be the right way to live going forward either. And also, she really found the meditations and the healing toolbox really powerful. It actually eased pain for her that she was experiencing. It felt like magic. And once that happened, she applied that awareness to all aspects of her life, and everything in her life just became easier. Okay, so yes, it's about getting pregnant, but it's also about all these other amazing benefits that you get from being in a program like this. This is Tanya. Tanya got pregnant on her first round of IVF after working 3 months with me when she was told she had a 25% chance of that working. These are the kind of results, guys, and transformations my clients are getting inside Fertile Frequency. Okay, so imagine this. Waking up not feeling consumed by infertility, right? Decision making with ease and confidence, like no more second guessing, right? Advocating for yourself like a boss, saying no when you don't want to get something done, saying yes if it feels right for you, okay? Knowing exactly what your body actually needs to conceive, optimizing your fertility by doing less, and living a life that you love, and ultimately getting your spark back. Okay, this is all possible for you, and these are the things that are happening inside the program right now. This is another testimonial from Laura. She became pregnant naturally in her mid-30s. She had low AMH and she was told that IVF was her only option. Okay, these are the kind of results we're getting. So right now though, guys, I know that you are feeling overwhelmed with information overload. I know that you are feeling isolated and alone and that no one understands what you're going through. Okay. I really felt that strongly at the beginning of my fertility journey. Felt very alone and that no one got it. You feel like your doctors don't know the answer, so they're telling you to do IVF. Especially when I see unexplained infertility, doctors kind of generally don't know what to do with that, so they just tell you that IVF's the answer, okay? And you are feeling exhausted and burnt out by all of the doing and all of the money and the resources and the time and energy you are spending on trying to get pregnant, right? So this program is designed to uncover and heal the energetic root cause of why you are struggling to conceive. Okay, this program will more than double your chances of conceiving, and it's going to optimize your fertility without the hard work and the hustle. So, are you ready? Working with me one-to-one would cost you anywhere from $2,299. The fertile frequency full price is $1,499, but your price as a special today is $999, okay? But I want to give you guys a ridiculous, never to be repeated special hot price, early bird price for the next 72 hours. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a price of $799 for the next 72 hours. This is a saving of $700 off the full price. It's pretty much half price. I won't be running this price ever again. So if you have been thinking about this program, now's the time to jump in. But I'm doing this now because I really want to help as many women as I can to optimize their fertility, right? Get their baby into their arms sooner, experience their fertility journey in a more easeful, joyful way, because that is possible, and getting back to the life that you love rather than having it boxed into this little bubble of everything that's fertility related, So this is why I'm offering this price for the next 72 hours. I want to support as many women as I can inside this program. And hopefully you are feeling the same way. Hopefully this price and this hot price is talking to you. And if you've been on the fence, now's the time. Now is absolutely the time. So I'm offering this price for 72 hours, and it is in exchange for feedback and testimonials. So anyone that jumps into the $799 price will provide a testimonial at the end of the program for me, and also just some feedback as we go through the program. Any feedback that you feel like sharing would be amazing. Okay, so that's the one little deal I've got going with you guys. Okay, I'll give you the $799 if you guys can give me a testimonial at the end. So what do we cover inside Fertile Frequency? Fertile Frequency is an online 4-month group program. Okay, it is self-paced online, so you get access to an online course portal and you can take yourself through the program. It is designed for you to navigate through the program as I've laid it out, because it has been laid out in a very specific way to guide you through the transformation. We also have a beautiful community of women who are inside this program. We call it our sisterhood group chat, and it's an amazing place for us all to share our wins, to share our struggles, and I'm in there as well. So we have that 24/7. We also have Q&A calls every 2 weeks for support. So you get to submit your questions ahead of time, and I will answer those questions for you every 2 weeks. Those calls are starting from August. And healing, we have a healing vault that will blow your mind, you guys. There's about over 20 healing practices inside the healing vault that will change the game for you and your fertility. I promise you that. And I also have a bonus section inside the program, which is bonus trainings and healing practices that I add from time to time, as and when are needed. So I'm quite often putting extra trainings in there, and so you'll get access to that as well. So what is included in Fertile Frequency? The very first piece of Fertile Frequency is all about embodiment, right? It's all about dropping from our head and into our body, okay? And this is honestly the secret sauce and the foundational practice of this entire program is about getting out of our head and getting back into our body, because it's only once we're back in the body we can bring safety to our nervous system, we can ground into our body, and we can access all of these feminine qualities that we have, like our intuition, like our inner wisdom, like the messages from our body. Okay, and I teach you how to do all of those things. Nervous system reprogramming, like I said, it's not just about nervous system practices. We are here to get to the actual root of why you are dysregulated in the first place, why you feel the need to hustle. We get to the root, we dissolve it at the root, and then we are able to regulate that nervous system from a much deeper level. We're going to create safety in your body for your fertility to flourish, okay? Like you've heard today, safety is a big aspect of being able to conceive. If the body feels like it's under threat or in danger currently, or because things that are stored in the body from previously and it hasn't been released, the body will not feel safe to conceive. This is a really crucial part of the program. You're going to learn how to be in your feminine and still get shit done. Because let's face it, being feminine is not just about floating around in a floral dress and a flower crown, although it can be if that's what you're into. Being feminine is actually a very, very powerful place to be. You can be in your feminine and still get shit done, and that's what I'm going to teach you inside Fertile Frequency. We also have a womb work framework. So we have a whole module on womb healing, because the womb is this epicenter of our feminine energy, right? And it holds and it stores wisdom, but also trauma, right? So it receives and it holds within the womb. So we receive wisdom and it stores it within us to access as we need that wisdom, but it also stores and holds trauma. Okay, so that's why we need to do a lot of womb healing work in this program to release any trapped trauma that is held in our womb space. Okay, and then, like I said, a healing vault with over 20 practices, energy healing practices to release what is blocking you and create a safe landing pad for your baby, and ultimately restore your fertility. Okay. So I have an extra bonus, guys. We're just wrapping up now. I have an extra bonus if you do join Fertile Frequency in the next 72 hours with this early bird price, and you provide a review of this masterclass, which you can just send to me via DM. You will receive a complimentary one-to-one session with me, which is valued at $249. Okay, so that's an extra bonus that I'm giving you guys for the next 72 hours that you can take advantage of. It would be an amazing way to condense both the online program with a one-to-one with me as well. And that is open and available for you guys too. Okay, so that wraps it up, guys. That wraps the session up, our masterclass. I want to know how this feels for you. Drop it in the chat if you've had any aha moments, if you have been kind of connecting the dots throughout this presentation, if you're feeling like, okay, I need to do things a different way. I would love to hear in the chat if there's anything coming up for you around this and what has really hit a nerve or opened your eyes to a new way of looking at fertility. This brings us to the end of the masterclass. I wanted to say thank you so much for being here. I know you are all extremely busy people, and I'm sure there probably were some aha moments for you, some eye-opening shares around what is actually impacting and depleting your fertility. This program that I've created is everything that I did to conceive, plus so much more. And it's honestly everything I wish I had at the very beginning of my fertility journey. Okay. So I just wanted to end with letting you know that what is possible for me with my kind of diagnosis is absolutely possible for you too. Okay, so if you are interested in joining during this limited time early bird price, you'll be receiving an email in the next hour or two with a link to join. And if you want to review this masterclass for a complimentary one-to-one that we can add to your Fertile Frequency program, feel free to just send that through to me via DM on Instagram. Okay, so we'll chat here. Thank you. Thanks for coming, guys. So many aha moments after a very long fertility journey that I've been on. Agree. If only this was discussed at the start of my journey. Exactly. This is the stuff that we don't get told by the fertility doctors, by Western medicine. We don't get told about any of this stuff. I remember when I received my diagnosis and I basically pleaded with my specialist, like, what can I do to improve my fertility? And she said to me, nothing really. That was her legitimate response, nothing really. And this is why I've now become a fertility coach and do the work that I do, because I conceived not only once against all odds, but twice through doing this kind of work. So, I think that it's something that we need to get out more to more women to know that you have more power over your fertility than you have been led to believe, okay? And there is so much we can do to support your fertility, okay? So if you do have any questions around the program, feel free to DM me on Instagram and we can chat there. I'm at beingfertile_with Thank you guys again so much for being here. I so appreciate you making the time to join me today. I love connecting with you all. And if I can help in any way, if you have any questions for me, I would love to hear from you. I'm here to support you guys, okay? So don't feel like you can't reach out to me. I am here to support you. Feel free to send through any questions that you have. And thank you again. I appreciate you. And I hope to hear from you guys soon. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.